Okay, good afternoon, one and all. So we will start our today's lecture. So I am finding here a very less attendance is there. I hope they will also join the lecture. So are you getting my voice here? Hello all. Please reply in the chat box. Are you getting my voice? Are you getting my screen? Hello. Yes. Aditya has replied here. So before starting the lecture, so just what we have studied in the earlier lecture. So we studied about the basic concepts and again frequent item set mining method. That are 2 points we have covered. So in today's lecture, we are going to cover the which patterns are interesting and pattern evaluation methods. Okay. So this point we will finish in today's lecture. Okay. And remaining points we will cover into the next lecture. Okay. So today we will cover the which patterns are interesting and pattern evaluation methods. Okay. So all these points already we have covered this. These are the basic concepts, that is the closed patterns and max patterns. These are the examples. And computational complexity of frequent item set mining. Hello. Are you getting my voice here? Hello. Are you getting my voice? Hello. So this is about the computational complexity of frequent item set mining. Okay, this also we have studied. It's all the points we have covered from the first 2 points. That is basic concepts and frequent item set mining method. So already we have covered. And all these 4 points also we have covered: a priori, a candidate generation, and a test approach, and improving the efficiency of a priori, and frequent pattern growth, frequent pattern growth approach, and ECLAT, that is the frequent pattern mining with vertical data format here. Okay, so all these 4 points we have covered from the next lecture. This is the downward closure property and scalable mining method, and a priori, candidate generation, and a test approach. This example, this algorithm, I have shown you that how it is going to work. The a priori algorithm, an example. Okay. This is the very easy example, which is based on the a priori algorithm. So this is the pseudocode for a priori algorithm. and this is the implementation of a priori algorithm. Okay, and how to count supports of candidates. This also we have covered. So this is the hash tree. Okay, this is the SQL implementation. Yeah, all these points we have covered in the previous lecture. Okay, so in today's lecture we are going to cover the next point. Okay, so what is the patterns and okay, these points we are going to cover in today's lecture. So that point name is which patterns are interesting and pattern evaluation method. Okay, so the which patterns are interesting and again pattern evaluation method is here. Okay, so this point we are going to cover in today's lecture. So this is the interestingness measure correlations. Okay, so with the example we will see that what is the which patterns are interesting, how to find out the which patterns are interesting. Okay, now the example it is given is that, so how you are going to calculate the interestingness measure. Okay, so how much it is having the interest that we are going to calculate here. Now here you can see that the play basketball. So you know the about basketball, how to play the basketball, how many players will be there, and again okay, so the play basketball, that is the eat cereal, that is 40%, 66.7% is misleading. Okay, so the overall percentage of students eating cereal is 75% is greater than 66.7%. Okay, and another condition is that play basketball, not eat cereal. Okay, not eat cereal. Now 20% and comma 33.3% is more accurate. Okay, although with lower support and confidence. A measure of dependent or correlated events, that is the lift. Okay, what is the measurement of dependent and correlated events are there? So this is called as the lift here. Now here the two conditions we are going to check here. One we need to check while eating the cereal, and another condition we need to check it not eat a cereal. Suppose you are going to eat the cereal, then 40% and comma 66.7% is misleading. So the overall percentage of students eating cereal is 75% is greater than 66.7%. And suppose not eat cereal, then only we need to have the, it is the 50% of eating cereal. Okay, so that is the 20%, comma 33.3% is more accurate. Okay, and we need to calculate the dependent or correlated events. Okay, that is called as the lift. So the lift we are going to calculate is P of A union B upon P of A and into P of B here. Okay. Now here you can see that in the table we have given is that the basketball and not basketball and again the sum. Okay. So for the cereal, for the basketball we have the 2000, and again for the not basketball we have the 1750, and the sum of these two is 3750 here. And not cereal, the basketball we have the 1000, and again the not basketball we have the 250. So the sum of these two is the 1250 here. Now the sum of these columns, okay, these sum we are going to consider in the form of the rows. And again, these sum we are going to consider in the form of the columns here. So that this 2000 plus 1000 is equal to 3000 here. And this for not basketball is 1750 plus 250 is equal to 2000 here. Okay. Now how to calculate the dependent or correlated events here. Now here you can see that we need to calculate the lift of B and C here. So this is the P of A union B. So what is the P of A union B? Suppose we are going to consider this is the A and again this is the B here. So the 2000 divided by 5000 and divided by 3000 divided by 5000 into 3750 divided by 5000. So the value of is equal to 0.89. And the lift from B to C is that 1500 divided by 5000 and divided by 3000 divided by 5000 into 1250 by 5000 is equal to 1.33 here. Okay. So that the P of A union B. So that the value of A is 2000 here. Okay. And divided by it is the 5000, that is the sum row. And divided by P of A. What is the P of A here? P of A is the 3000. And P of B is, here we have the 5000 and into 3750 divided by 5000. So we are getting the value of 0.89 here. Again in the same way here for the not serial. Okay, for the not serial again we have the 1000 divided by 5000 and it's whole upon 3000 divided by 5000 into 1250 divided by 5000. So we are getting the value as 1.33. So the lift value of B to C is the 0.89 and again lift value for B to C is the 1.33. So in that way we can calculate the interestingness measure with respect to the correlations here. Means here we need to find out that which patterns are interesting here. Okay. So the patterns we are going to consider for the eating cereal and again the non-eating cereal here. So the eating cereal is given the more accuracy and the not eating cereal is not giving the more accuracy here. Okay. Now here we can see that R lift and sigma x square good measures of correlation. Now we know the formulas here. So these formulas we learn in the DMS and again in the talk, that is the formal system and automata. Okay, these are the symbols, these are the measure and again this is the range and again this is the formula here. Okay. Suppose the null is the coefficient and the range is the -1 to 1 and formula for this is P of A comma B is equal to P of A into P of B. So just here you can have the observation. So the coefficient yields Q, yields Y, Cohen's, Pytest, Chapuis, content T factor, added value, okay, the Goodman, Kruskal's, mutual information, J measure, Gini index, support, confidence, Laplace, cosine, coherence, Jacquard, all confidence, odds ratio, conviction, lift, collective strength, and again the x square. Okay. This in that way, all these are the formulas we have here, and from that we are going to calculate the which patterns are an interesting one here. Okay. Now here the buy walnuts is suggested that buy milk is 1%, 80% is misleading of 85% of customers buy milk. Okay. And the support and confidence are not good to indicate correlation. Okay. The support and confidence indicators are there. They are not going to indicate the good correlation. And over 20 interestingness measures have been proposed. okay, and which are good ones. So means in that way we need to calculate. Okay, just I will give the 2 minutes for you. Just you have the lookout on this slide, and you take the all these formulas here. So I will give the 2 minutes for you, the time. Okay, here you can see in this table for the, see all these formula are not included in our syllabus. Only 3 to 4 formulas are there. One is the x square. This is the last one, and we have the support. Okay, for the support we have the range is from the 0 to 1. That is the p of a, comma b, and confidence we are going to calculate 0 to 1. That is the maximum of p of b a, and again comma p of a b here. Okay, so in that way we are going to calculate the support, confidence, and again the x square here. Okay, these formulas we are going to use it for calculating the which patterns are interesting one. Okay, now here you can see that null invariant measures. Okay, So what are the null invariant measures here? Here we can see that the table number 6, that is the properties of interestingness measures. Note that none of the measures satisfies all the properties here. Okay. Now here you can see the confidence. The confidence is having the 0 to 1 range, and again the P1 to P3, it is having the P1 is no, P2 is the yes, P3 is no, and O1 is the no, O2 is also no, O3 is also no, O3 is also no, and again the O4 is yes here. Okay. And cosine, so the range is from 0 to P of A comma B to the 1, no, yes, 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 no, 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 yes. Okay. So these patterns are there. And Jacquard, the Jacquard is the 0 to 1, and no, yes, 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 no, 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 yes. Now we'll see that what is the P1, P2, P3, and again up to the O4. Now here you can see that where the P1 is called as O of M is equal to 0 if determinant of M is equal to 0. That is whenever A and B are statistically independent. So whenever the A and B values they are statistically independent, then we are going to consider the P1. And P2 is that, so the O of M2 is greater than O of M1 if M2 is equal to M1 plus K minus K, comma minus K into K. And the P3 is that O of M2 is less than O of M1 if M2 is equal to M1 plus 0 K 0 minus K, or M2 is equal to M1 plus in bracket 0 into 0 K minus K. Okay. So in that way we need to calculate the P1, P2, and again the P3 here. Now what is the O1, O2, O3, and again the O4 here? Now O3 we are having the 2, O3, and again the O3 single inverted comma here. Okay. So the O1 is that, so this is the property 1, symmetry under variable permutation. So we know about the permutation, combination, and again the permutation we are going to use in the algebra. And O2 is that, this is the property number 2, row and column scaling invariance. Okay. The O2 is called as the property 2, row and column scaling invariance. And O3 is that, property 3, antisymmetry under row or column permutation. Okay. Antisymmetry means it is the versus symmetry. The symmetry means the two sides are equal. Then antisymmetry means the two sides are not equal here. Okay. And O3 single inverted comma is that, property for inversion invariance. Okay. And O4 is that, property 5, it is a null invariance. Okay. So where is the O4 here? Now all these confidence, cosine, and again the Jacquard is the O4 is having the yes here. Okay. So that this is called as the null variance. Okay. The only yes it is there for O4. The three measures are there. One is the confidence, one is the cosine, and again another one is the Jacquard here. All other measures are no here. Okay. Now here what is the yes star here? So the yes star is that yes if measure is normalized. Okay. The yes star is that yes it if measure is normalized. And no star is that symmetry under row or column permutation. And no double star, no unless the measure is symmetrized by taking max of M of A